Over the past few decades, the gap between the rich and the poor has grown significantly. According to the Oxfam report, in the last 2 years, the richest 1% have accumulated almost twice as much wealth as the rest of the 99%. In September 2016, former President Obama, during his address to the United Nations General Assembly, highlighted the most pressing issue of rising income inequality. According to Obama, a world where 1% of humanity controls as much wealth as the bottom 99% will never be stable. Income inequality has been a persistent problem, but in the late 20th century it started to rise notably. The 1980s era witnessed a significant increase in income and wealth disparities in many developed countries. This era saw policies like deregulation, the free market economy, free trade, globalization, and tax cuts for the wealthy. All such factors benefited the affluent while exacerbating disparities. A glimpse of growing inequality in the world can be seen in various reports published by international organizations. According to the latest World Income Inequality Report, the richest 10% of the global population bagged 52% of the total income, while the poorest half of the global population earned just 8% of the global income. Oxfam, a renowned global organization fighting inequality, in its latest report, Survival of the Richest, published in 2023, reveals the issue of rising inequality. According to the report, the richest 1% grabbed nearly 2/3 of all new wealth of $42 trillion created since 2020, while the bottom 99% of the population accounted for only 1/3 of this newly created income. In 2017, the same organization published a research paper called An Economy for the 99%, which revealed that since 2015 the richest 1% of people have more wealth than the rest of the world. In this report, Oxfam stressed that it's time to build a human economy that benefits everyone, not just the privileged few. Moreover, the United States, which is the world's largest economy, has been grappling with a growing issue of income inequality. According to various reports, the top 1% richest people in the USA hold a disproportionate percentage of the country's income and wealth. To highlight the issue of rising inequality, we'll delve into the definition, causes, consequences, and solutions to this critical issue. So, what is income inequality? Income inequality refers to the unfair distribution of income and wealth among individuals and households within a population. The greater the extent of unfair distribution in income, the greater will be the inequality in income. The issue of income inequality extends far beyond an individual's earnings, as it also involves access to wealth, resources, opportunities, and social mobility. For example, wealth that comprises of the possession of real estate, savings, and investments by individuals is a major source of inequality in a society. Moreover, the inequality of wealth is often more pronounced than income inequality because wealth can be passed down through generations. Similarly, unequal access to opportunities and social mobility is also a major source of inequality. It means that if you are born into an affluent family, you have better and more opportunities for education, travel, health, and recreation than if you were born into a poor family. What drives income inequality? Several factors cause income inequality to rise. The first among them is globalization. The growing interdependence of the world's economies, societies, cultures, businesses, and trade has increased income inequality by creating winners and losers in the global economy. The outsourcing of manufacturing jobs by international and multinational corporations from developed countries to countries with lower labor costs has had a devastating impact on middle-class wages and employment opportunities in developed countries. Moreover, globalization has resulted in a disproportionate accumulation of wealth among a privileged few, while the majority of the population has experienced stagnant or decreasing incomes. Nobel laureate economist Eric Muskin said that inequality is increasing in this wave of globalization. Similarly, advances in technology, automation, and artificial intelligence have caused many jobs to become either highly skilled or eliminated. Due to these advances, low-skilled workers lost their jobs in many industries and the less educated workers suffered cuts in their wages. Meanwhile, those with the skills to work with technology see their incomes rise. So, technological advancements began favoring those with higher skills and education by widening the gap between high and low earners. Moreover, education has increased income inequality by creating a skills gap between those with higher education and those with less education. The gap between the wages of workers with a bachelor's degree and higher and the wages of less educated and less skilled workers is growing rapidly. Additionally, the rising cost of higher education has created a barrier for individuals from low-income backgrounds by limiting their access to quality education, which perpetuates the vicious cycle of income inequality. The Asian Development Bank's article Education Globalization and Income Inequality in Asia, published in 2017, reveals that unequal educational opportunities increase income inequality. The decline of labor unions and collective bargaining power also promoted income inequality by weakening workers' ability to negotiate fair compensation and benefits. Less progressive tax policies and deregulation by the government have favored the wealthy, allowing them to amass more wealth and power. Lastly, systemic racism and discrimination also play a significant role in perpetuating income inequality. Throughout history, marginalized communities have faced substantial obstacles to education, employment, and wealth-building opportunities, resulting in enduring disparities in income and wealth. Consequences of rising income inequality. The consequences of income inequality are profound and far-reaching. Such a concentration of wealth among the few has a ripple effect on various aspects of society. Unequal societies lead to stress and status anxiety-like problems in human life. When people are struggling to fulfill their ends, they're more likely to experience stress, unhappiness, and poor health. Moreover, income and wealth inequality also erodes social cohesion and trust, which results in political polarization and social unrest. People are less likely to trust each other and participate in social or civic matters. And when the wealthy wield disproportionate political power, policies often prioritize serving their interests at the expense of the broader population. Furthermore, income and wealth inequality hampers economic growth and stability, as it reduces consumer spending power and raises poverty rates. Societies with high levels of inequality tend to have unstable economies, leading to problems such as economic instability, financial crises, debt, and inflation. Moreover, income inequality also perpetuates cycles of poverty, making it extremely difficult for individuals to improve their economic status and well-being. Lastly, higher levels of inequality within a country reduce people's trust in public institutions and people feel less connected to their own country. In such a society, people feel unhappy with the country's institutions, which ultimately weakens democracy. Solutions of income inequality. A variety of policies can be adopted to curb rising inequality. First, we need to implement progressive taxation and wealth redistribution policies to reduce rising income inequality. Many advanced countries like Norway, Sweden, and Denmark implemented policies like progressive taxation, empowering labor unions, and strengthening social safety nets to reduce income inequality. Second, creating equal access to quality education can reduce income inequality. Third, addressing systemic racism and discrimination through policies that reduce disparities in education, housing, healthcare, and criminal justice can reduce inequality. Fourthly, strengthening the labor unions and collective bargaining power by allowing workers to negotiate fair compensation and benefits can help reduce inequality. Lastly, according to the Peterson Institute for International Economics, inequality can be reduced through policy interventions by the government. For the lowest class, the government should ensure free health care, free education, social security benefits, minimum wage, and job provision guarantee. For the upper class, the imposition of various types of taxes such as inheritance and estate tax, corporate tax, and wealth tax can reduce income inequality. In short, rising income inequality is a pressing issue of our time that demands our attention and collective action. The gap between poor and rich is increasing in many countries around the world. If we want to create a better world, increasing inequality needs to be controlled so that we can make a more just and equitable society for all.